Good day, YouTubers. As some of you will already know, I originally bought the Minn Kota I have for my previous boat. I think you should buy the biggest Minn Kota you can actually fit on your boat, just in case you do upgrade, and I did upgrade. Unfortunately, the largest Minn Kota I could fit on my previous boat was 60 inch. I would have bought the 72 inch, would have fitted, but it just wouldn't. The new boat needed the 72 inch, but all I had was a 60 inch, so I've been using that. However, it's a bit on the short side when it gets rough. It allows the propeller to get close enough to the surface to cavitate, and that's a bad thing. So finally, I've bitten a bullet and I had it extended to 72 inch. It was sort of 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, whether to sell the 60 inch version and buy the 72 inch, but being a relatively new Minn Kota, I felt that the cheapest option was just to get it extended.
The quick attach bedding has to come off there to bolt straight onto it. I'm going to modify the geometry slightly, and at the moment I'm undecided about whether I shall do that by cutting this plate and welding it on properly, or just rebolting it. Rebolting is probably the easier option. Welding is probably the neater option. But they've both got drawbacks. So the biggest drawback of the welding is that the heat will warp the flat metal. So I've got to be very careful about that, because if it warps too much, the thing won't fit back on at all. So yeah, a bit to think about there. While I was having the iPilot fitted, I decided I may as well have the 72 inch shaft, because that's the right size for my boat. The 60 inch shaft was left over from the previous boat, and as it turns out, I reckon it was cheaper to get this one modified than it was to sell it second hand and buy a new 72 inch one. So I've got the sides off. I'm about to unbolt the quick release because I'm not going to use that anymore. Bolt there, and up here somewhere, and there's 3 on the other side as well. You've got to take this little arm off to be able to get to one of the bolts. But when you do, be real careful not to lose the circlip that holds it on. Bit of a build-up of, I don't know, wouldn't call it corrosion because it's nicely anodised and it hasn't eaten into the aluminium, but maybe salt deposits built up underneath where it's bolted onto the quick release. I'm going to spray that with a bit of that fish-based spray on oil that I've got, because that's nice and thick. It makes a permanent coating on there. I'm going to bolt it back onto the boat. So there you are, there's it mounted back on without the quick release. I've used the rubber washers, or neoprene, whatever they are, that came with it. I think they're supposed to act as a bit of a shock absorber. I don't know that it actually needs it, but put them on anyway. I've just got to put these side panels back on and remount this thing here. It goes on that way. I have to put the camera down. I need 2 hands to, oh no, here we go. He's on. I just need to put the circlips on, and I'll need 2 hands for that part of the job. Right, there we go. She's installed and fully operational now. Everything's locked down and in place. I've just got to make sure that it actually works now that I've done all that. So let's deploy it, see what happens. Right, I need a little bit more of this out. And pull about that much out so I can lock that down there. Alright, that's good. Ooh, nice. I got that clearance just right. I pulled it in back a little bit closer and just changed the geometry on it slightly because I had to drill new holes to mount it without the quick release. So I actually could have come over this way quite a bit more since I'm so far out. 2 or 3 degrees of angle, 5 at the most. But that's what I drew the plans for. This was the prototype, and it is over a little bit more than it needed to be, and I did think about re-welding this while I had it out, but I decided it was too much, and the welding spark's not going to do the fiberglass any good. I would have had to put shielding up and everything, and yeah, I just decided to leave well enough alone. Now just stay that. Yeah, the bracket works well. That'll stop any bounce in it. Turn him off and I'll see about getting these things zip tied in place, and that job's done.
Works well. Haven't had it cavitate yet, and I have had it out in rough weather where it would have cavitated with the 60-inch shaft, so very happy with the result. If you do get your shaft extended, you have to have it done professionally, because apparently it needs some adjustment and specialised tools to get it done right. I had mine done. This video is just about putting the unit back on the boat. I removed the quick release because apparently with the 72-inch shaft there's more pressure on the quick release, and I had the smaller quick release which might not have stood up to the load. So I opted just to bolt it straight to the nose of the boat. That's fine for me because in the couple of years that I've owned it, I have only ever removed it once, and that was to move it from one boat to the other. So the quick release has been of no real use to me. Bolting it on directly made sense. Also saved me about an inch of height and got that propeller about an inch deeper in the water. With the 72-inch shaft, and even with the 60-inch shaft, you should have some sort of support to stop it bouncing around too much, just keeps the strain off everything. I opted for this one. It's a lot more expensive than just gluing a bit of PVC pipe to the deck, but I opted for this one because it looks really good. You've got a good bait, you don't want to put rubbish on it. So this looks good. It's adjustable in height. You can also take it off and it leaves just this really thin, small piece on the deck. If you've got your Minn Kota on a quick attach and you do take it off the boat, you can also take the support off and have that out of the way. As well as that, it folds down. If you don't want to take it right off, you can fold it down out of the way, so if you're moving around your boat a lot, fold it down so you don't trip over it. I think it was well worth it. I'll put a link in the description where you can get one. And that's it for the video. As I say, going to the 72-inch shaft has been excellent for this boat. I knew it needed it and just had to wait to do it. So if you want to put one on your boat, a similar boat, baseboard or similar 6 metre size, definitely go the 72-inch shaft. Don't forget to click that like button. Until next time, good fishing.